Yo, what's good, YouTube? Today I'm gonna make a video on how to your basic guide to use speedrunning. I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks and what I do daily and the things that I use to make my speedrunning a lot faster. The things I use to save time, the animation cancels, movement tech, what mouse and keyboard I use, the actuation points on my mouse and keyboard. I'll go into potential breakdown, the rotations that I use for almost every single dungeon is pretty much the same. Magic charging, and then what to farm daily as a free-to-be player and pay to win, however you want to look at it. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, first we're going to start off with animation cancelling and normal rotations. I put 4 characters, support characters that I use to animation cancel, and these are like our main characters at the moment that we use, me and my team use to do rotations, whether it's boss challenge, dungeon, or spider raid. It just depends, you just switch it around as you want to what's needed. What many people do at the moment, and then that for Daisy animation flowers, is they'll do the flower and dash, right? And then that will cancel the full animation of pulling the flower out. The more advanced tech to this at the moment is a bit harder to do on controller, I'm not too sure, but on keyboard, I got my keyboard based on the bottom left over here, so you should be able to see it, is you want to press E and space together, and just spam them together, and that will animation cancel your flowers like that. And then obviously you finish with the Q, right? That Q can also be animation cancelled as well. So that could save you a lot of time, and you get loads of magic orbs from that as well. Right, so the whole point of this is to try and get as much magic orbs in a shortest time possible, so you can get your combined out, right? The characters mainly Manny as well. Manny can animation cancel. You just, once you Q, you change character, and the field will be put down. So all these tips help save time rather than waiting out the whole animation. A lot of people with Elizabeth do her Q first and then her E, but that cancels her Q. So the tip for that would be to do EQ, and then as you can see, she's still here on the field, and you get your buff and your debuff that she applies to the enemy. Houses one is pretty simple. I think everyone knows houses animation cancel. You can EQ and then change instantly. It'll still apply the debuffs onto him. So you'll have like the Crimson Howl, Gale, whatever debuffs he has there. Just to test around, these are the main characters I use for every speedrun. I get my crit damage buff, my Daisy's electromagnetic buff, the damp feeling, and it makes your time a lot lower. Just learning how to optimize these characters and getting your tag skill, because your tag skill is the most important thing when you're using this raid set. You see that chest piece above my head? You want the full piece raid set to get the benefit, so you have to do the animation cancels as fast as possible to get the most damage output as possible. So if I was to do a rotation, we'll use Elizabeth as my DPS for now. So I'll do that. I'll do my Daisy animation cancels. I'll do into Manny, back into Daisy, and it just keeps on switching. Every time you hear that shing sound, you can tag in, and yeah. Long story short, you want these characters on the field for the lowest time possible to get as much as you can out of them to reach your optimum time. And every time you hear that thing, just know you're doing it right. It's the fastest way to get your tag skill and get your damage output there as well. One more for Daisy. If you already have Daisy in the field and you got her crit damage buff, you don't need to do it again. You can just EQE, and that can do 2 flowers at a time rather than the E jump thing. So that can help you save time as well. Right then, into magic charging efficiency equipment and what I use to get the most out of magic charging. These are all set. These characters are set now, so like my Daisy, Manny, and Elizabeth are all set for the current boss challenge, so I don't really need that much magic charging on them at the moment. But my Daisy, one support character will always have a 3-set him to get the increased magic charging efficiency plus the 2000 gauge. And then my other supports will all have, I got 4 pairs of these, so each support character will have 2 of these and a Flame Oath ring for the magic charging. You get this from Gila anyways, she's pretty much easy to get it from now, unless they changed it. And then the 2-piece for the base magic charging of 12, and then the 10% buff you get from that. So both my characters will be running that. And then my Days will run the full 3 set. And then I'll always switch it around. If you need a bit more magic charging efficiency, if you're not getting the orbs you need, you can always put these Immortal Watcher bottoms, which you can get from pretty much every boss challenge or anything like that. And you get bonus magic charging efficiency with that. And yeah, if you're really struggling and you're not really going for like speed record times, you can eat magic charging efficiency food. If you need to work on getting your combined ult. It's all up to you how you want to do it. And then, yeah, so for my charging efficiency, I'll be running that set. That gets me my like 5-6 orbs, depending on which boss I'm fighting and what's going on with that. Right, hardware-wise, it's pretty simple. I run a Wooting keyboard with the minimum actuation points on it, which is like 0.001% or something like that. So as soon as I rub my W key, this is just me slightly rubbing it. It'll activate like that, so I don't really press on it. And then if I have to rub by number 1 key, 2, 3, 4, I'm just running my fingers across my keyboard right now, and this is what happens. So it's a lot faster than standard keyboard. There's some keyboards you just press all the way down. What a lot of people do is they rebind their 1, 2, 3, 4 to their mouse. The mouse has multiple buttons. My mouse only has 2 buttons. I have a Razer Viper V3 Pro, whatever it is. I'll put the links down in the description. And that's, I only have 2 buttons in there, so I can't really, one's for my wolf and the other one's for my bird. So that's it for hardware wise. It's just, you don't have to get the super expensive mouse and keyboard. Just get a, you can, if you want to make it easier where your fingers can't reach 1, 2, 3, 4, you can get a mouse with multiple buttons, and you can use that to change characters. That's a lot of people do anyways, and it helps you with all you're doing at that point is just spamming E and Q, pressing something on your keyboard, and then yeah, it helps with all of it. Right, potential breakdown. You wanna get the highest score possible, but your potential is really low, which is understandable. Not everyone is a whale, and sometimes it can be really hard to earn gems to get to the potential you need. Some of these characters only get busted when you reach a certain potential. For Gotha example, for this one, P10 really scales his damage up a lot, and so does P9. That's an extra 425%. Increase attack at P3 and P8. P7, this saves a lot of time on speedrunning, because instead of fully charging Gotha's skill, you can just tap it and you get the benefit of fully charging it. So instead of doing all of that to get the max damage, I can just tap it and get the max damage that I can. You don't have to be P10 to be on the leaderboard. P10 gives you a good shot at getting the highest possible number that you can, right? So it really helps. Oh, HPM just got second there. Sheesh. Like it or not, getting to the highest place that you can, whether you want to try and achieve the top 70%, top 30, top 10, so on, up until like top 3 potentially, is you need to have hands. And by hands, I mean you have to be quick with what you do and how you swap characters, right? So if I was to go into this raid and go and fight, well, I raid this boss, and I was to do my normal rotation slowly, right? So I'll go in here, Q, E, drop the Daisy. People, I mean Elizabeth, people do Q and then E, go into Daisy, drop all my orbs, Q again, back into Gotha, E, hold my Q. I can one-tap him, right? But that took 18 seconds, which is not ideal. You're going to be fast as possible and efficient as possible, right? Don't forget I mentioned that my Gotha one-tap there because my Gotha is P10, and is absolutely broken. And I got really lucky with the rolls on there as well. So, yeah. Now, if I was to throw in a bit of animation cancelling, you can bring the timer down, right? So if many of you don't know, Elizabeth's Q teleports to the boss or like runs towards the boss, so that saves you time. So I'm gonna go out of here, I'm gonna EQ, and I'm just gonna animation all my characters until I get to my DPS character, right? And then we'll see how many orbs I get by then. So EQ back there, animation cancel, all my flowers animation cancel, do that. You halved your time by 9 seconds. So animation cancelling and the efficiency of it really helps you a lot and helps you save time. The potentials, obviously, like potential whatever, like let's say 4 and onwards there, you might have to use 2 Qs or an alt, or you might have to use all buffs from all characters. I can pretty much kill this boss with just Elizabeth and Gotha. My normal rotation is coming with Elizabeth, Q towards the boss, Gotha E, Q, and that's it. And then he's dead, right? So potentials do help, but to reach your maximum potential on the leaderboard can be depicted by how fast your hands can be, right? These guys may have P10, but they don't have hands. They're not gonna keep displacement. You know, you gotta have these hands. You gotta be fast with what you do. All right, your rotation. You have to think about the timing, like throwing your daisies all about for first strike can take a while. Doing this full Q can take a while. So better yet, instead of using daisy for first strike, if you have a Hauser's Q is a lot faster than daisy's first strike. Right? All these things add up. So with my Hauser, this is important. First strike, make sure it's maxed out. 100% higher increase damage taken by 50%. So my Hauser can be my first strike instead of throwing my Daisy's orb, which takes a lot longer. It can be a while, right? One more thing I forgot to add to magic charging is make sure your weapons have magic charging efficiency. These are all legendary orbs that I've used to get more magic charging efficiency, so I get the most out of it. So with the full set, my house's magic charging is at like 49, but if I put the pants and things, I get probably a lot higher. Okay. So your rotation really depicts your outcome and how fast you can scale up or down the ladder. You're not going to get top 1 straight away, but you'll be able to half your time and then progress from then onwards, right? What to farm on a daily as a speedrunner. So food has become a big thing for speedrunners for a while now, right? Before it used to be magic charging efficiency food. Now it's the fruit and meat pie, obviously because it increases your attack by 17% and crit chance, which is really good. Gives you that bonus damage and potential damage outcome potential. You, as a speedrunner, every day I'll be farming all my fruits, basically. I'll run around the map, put some music in, and go and farm everything, right? All the fruits, all the corn, the quinoa, however you say that, the barley, the meat. I've made a video on where you can go farm large meat. I recommend buying the milk and cheese and all those stuff from vendors every day, because you never know when you're going to need it. A lot of food is coming into play right now where it makes or breaks your speedruns, right? So if you don't know how to make all of these foods, there's a link. I'll put a link down where you can find a site where you can make all these foods and what you need for all of it, and that can help you with your grind. What to farm and what's the main things you need for damage output. If I were you, using Hauser, try and get a level 3 Crimson Gale. This doesn't work for everyone because not everyone is a whale. This can take time for people, so make sure weekly I'll come in and make sure that I farm up all my essence that's needed for my scissors, my remnants. These are waste. Please do not do this. I'll farm up essence weekly on either Orgot or now we got this new boss. That'll be my new thing. Polish you get easily from explorations because they do the mining for you. Make sure you're farming your plat. I got all my stuff favorited here, so like gold, plat, amethyst, sunstones, all of us will get farmed. Amethyst I'm out of because I reroll Mediolus's weapon. Whoever's your main DPS, you want to kind of mainly farm everything, like gem-wise, so you can have sufficient amount when the day comes. So I got like a couple of those, and then yeah, as you can tell, I've been farming everything every day for like since this game released. But you want to have a sufficient amount available to whenever you need to reroll weapons or change or upgrade, whatever it may be. So I'll always be farming amethyst and topaz and all of it, like emeralds, opals, quartz, rubies. Like you always want to have these because you never know when you might need to change it. So I'll come in that, do all of that, farm my food, farm my rice, farm everything that's needed to speedrun. And then obviously you're going to need equipment. So I've made this new set. I'm going to be testing it out and seeing how that goes. You want to test things out and see if they work for your team and your rotation. What to spend your keys on? I usually spend them on equipment. Obviously the raid is the most important set right now. It's the most highest damage output with defense shutter being a thing, so you can only farm the raid a certain amount of times a week. If you don't have a crit damage ring, I suggest farming Gallant and getting a decent one. I don't even know where mine's gone. Yeah, that's my one. So make sure you try and farm Gallant and get a nice crit damage ring. But for now, that's null and void. The defense shutter set from the raid really gives you a lot of damage. So I'd stick to that. Farm all the Transcendence Essence. I think per run on this guy you get like 3 per run, 1 to 3 per run. And that helps a lot. Obviously with all these tips and tricks, I hope they help. And I'll be releasing more videos on like speedrunning and tips and tricks that I can release for like the bosses and whatever you may be coming up against. I'm trying to broaden it so people get better, because a lot of people are trying to get into speedrunning and trying to achieve the titles so they can get those pets. Because everybody wants those pets, and they're gonna take a while, but it is very doable. Hopefully you reach the highest point in your gaming within 7 deadly sins, so you can get the best output possible. And you can always message me and ask for any help. I'll be releasing more in-depth videos on speedrunning, and I'll start going into weaponry rolls and what to look for on each character, what to run substat wise, how to increase your CC and things like that. So look forward to all of that coming out. I've just been busy speedrunning at the moment and sorting things out with some people. But most importantly, remember to have fun and enjoy the game. You don't have to be top 1 to have fun. So yeah, make sure you take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.